Good evening, my name is Eric Nsigiti. First, the headlines. Court rejects businessman Zamir Karim's request to bring back a witness in the 150 million food rations case. Malawi makes 400 million kwacha from God in the last 2 months. In other news, at least 368,000 learners in Malawi lack basic needs, such as school uniforms and learning materials. We have these plus many other stories. Please do stay with us. In our top story, Chief Resident Magistrate Patrick Chirwa has rejected businessman Zamir Karim's application to bring back a witness in the 150 million kwacha food rations case. Karim, who heads Pioneer Investments, is being accused of forging documents to acquire a loan to supply food rations to the Malawi Police Service. Rebecca Chinchega has the latest in this report, read by Blessings Mpinganjira.
The court has also thrown out an application by Karim to bar state witness Yota Mubanda from using a document which forms the basis of the state's argument on the case. Lawyer representing Karim, Alex Nampota, asked the court to recall former Director of Finance at Malawi Police, Innocent Boromani, now deceased, to come back to the court for re-examination. Director of Public Prosecutions, Stephen Ikayuni, objected to the request, arguing the matter was already exhausted. Chief Resident Magistrate Chirwa threw out the application on Friday, arguing that the matter was already handled and that there was no need to recall the witness. The case was part of Malawi Police Service 2.5 billion kwacha food ration scandal, in which Karim and Victoria Chanza, an officer with EcoBank, are accused of forging police documents to secure the loan.
That's Blessings Mpinganjira, ending a report forwarded by Rebecca Chinchega. Malawi has made 400 million kwacha from gold sales in the last 2 months. Minister of Industry Roy Kachalibanda attributes the development to the establishment of a structured market by the Reserve Bank of Malawi. Wezi Gausi has more in this report.
The minister said this on Friday in Lilongwe during the opening of Nyasa Unique Gallery by Nyasa Mining Cooperative Society Limited. Nyasa is a member-owned Lilongwe-based registered small-scale mining and marketing business cooperative. Kachale says the mining has potential to replace tobacco in boosting the country's economy, as the 400 million kwacha was realized in the 2 months. He says apart from gold, miners are asked to open markets for other minerals.
Well, so this development is in line with several things that are contained in the Malawi 2063, which is our guiding policy. And first of all, I came here as the minister responsible for cooperatives. As you know, that Nyasa has organized themselves into a cooperative, and cooperatives is one of the methods that we want to use to make sure that we're involving a lot of people in Malawi to develop themselves.
Chairperson for Nyasa Mining Cooperative, Pese Maleta, says the country loses about 80% of the value when people sell raw stones.
We decided to come together because there was a need that could not be achieved individually. And when we sat down as dealers in Jamestown, miners, we thought the best way for us is to form a cooperative. So basically, it was a need which arose because we could not achieve individually certain things like buying equipment, or also maybe negotiating better deals, but also marketing.
The opening of the gallery is one way of creating an opportunity for mineral value addition in the country.
At least 368,000 learners in Malawi lack basic needs, such as school uniforms and learning materials. A Malawi 2020 Education Statistics report describes the learners as vulnerable. At slightly above 44,000, Mangochi has the highest number of vulnerable learners, according to the report, as Feston Menegezo reports.
The report indicates that Mangochi district had the highest dropout rate of 10.8% out of the 213,422 learners who dropped out of school in 2019. Among others, the learners dropped out of school because of various reasons like violence at school, sickness, pregnancy, poor facilities, especially for girls, lack of support, lack of interest by the learner, early marriages, traveling long distance to school, and lack of fees. But poverty took the majority share with close to 27.5%. The report also shows that the country has 343,513 orphans out of the 5.4 million learners who enrolled during the 2019-2020 academic year, which represents 6.3%. In an interview, Director of Child Affairs in the Ministry of Gender, Community Development and Social Welfare, McKnight Kalanda, says the government plays a coordination role where the duty of taking care of the vulnerable children rests in the hands of councils. Kalanda further says they also depend on the non-governmental organizations whose various interventions are aimed at narrowing equity gap among learners. Kalanda further says in the Schools Improvement Grant, SIG, there is a component used for access and equity across districts, which vulnerable learners can get some support, and last year around 1.5 billion kwacha was dangled. But a head teacher in one of the schools in Mzuzu, who asked not to be named, said the SIG does not support any vulnerable learner. Child rights activist Amos Chibana says the government should not run away from its core responsibility of making sure every child is protected as prescribed in the Constitution and the Child Care Protection Act. It is not therefore surprising that the primary completion rate has been hovering around 51 and 53% between 2017 and 2020, which is still low.
Construction of a bridge at Enugweni in Nzimba district will commence between August and September this year. Roads Authority officials announced this after a group called Great North Transformation threatened demonstrations this Saturday against the delays. Floods washed away the bridge in the area along the M1 road area this year. Sam Karimira has the details.
Enugweni Bridge was washed away on 12 June this year, and one of the temporary measures was erecting a bare bridge which is currently in a deplorable state. 6 months down the ladder, frustrated with the delay, some communities under Great North Transformation Institution have planned to hold a protest this Saturday to force the government to start working on the bridge. Drivers, business people and other stakeholders have been complaining that the delay in constructing the bridge is doing injustice to people from Rumpi, Karonga, Chitipa and beyond. But in a statement released on Wednesday, Roads Authority says it is sure that the works will commence between August and September this year. The authority says the process of awarding the civil works contract for the construction of the 3-box culvert is at an advanced level. The Roads Authority said they tendered out the project in June and that they are waiting for an evaluation report from the Public Procurement and Disposal of Assets Authority for clearance. Meanwhile, the Roads Authority says in order to facilitate smooth and quick execution of works as well as continuous flow of traffic, the institution engaged 2 other emergency contractors who are currently working on the diversion pending commencement of permanent works. Leaders of the Great North Transformation Institute have not yet made a decision on whether to proceed with the vigils.
Minister of Health Kumbize Kandori Chibonda has launched the 2021 Breastfeeding Week. The launch in Lilongwe came at a time statistics indicate that exclusive breastfeeding in Malawi declined from 71% in 2020 to 61% in 2021. For more on this, here's Blessings Mpinganjira.
Minister of Health Kumbize Kandodo Chibonda said breastfeeding gives children the healthiest start to life. She said government is encouraging mothers across the country to breastfeed as one way of protecting the younger ones. She asked stakeholders to encourage mothers who were tested positive to COVID-19 to continue breastfeeding while observing the preventive measures.
It is very, very important for nutritional purposes, but also for bonding. So it is a very important, critical stage in terms of child development. So that is why, as a ministry, we are also commemorating breastfeeding, and the first week of August is set aside just for us to encourage each other.
Country Director for Health Policy Plus Project, Olive Ntema, said they are working together with the government to train health workers in new ways of improving breastfeeding methods.
USAID's priority is also to promote breastfeeding among women. So we are working with the government, supporting the Department of Nutrition to train hospitals to become baby-friendly so that they are able to promote breastfeeding among women.
The minister also awarded health facilities that have achieved baby-friendly hospital status. This year's commemoration is under the theme, Protect Breastfeeding as a Shared Responsibility.
Renowned broadcaster Swine Chinkango has been laid to rest. This and other stories after the break.
Like every mom, you want the best for your child.
Happy birthday.
You feed her mind and nurture her body. And you understand there are times you have to let her pick herself up when she falls. You make sure she knows the joy of sharing happy moments with family. And when everything comes together, you above all others will share the taste of success with her. Blue Band tastes like mama's love.
Mona malawi anzanga. Nkhondo yogonjetsa COVID-19 ndiya wina aliyense. Tili limodzi. Ine ndinasankha kulandira katemera wa COVID-19 atangoyamba kuberekedwa. Chifukwa monga namwino, moyo wanga, umoyo wa odwala amene ndimawasamalira, abale anga, ndi dera langa, ndi zinthu zomwe ndimazika pa mtima panga kwambiri. Katemera wa COVID-19 anditeteza ine ndi ena omwe analandira katemerayo ku chiopsezo choti tingadwale mwakayakaya, kugonekedwa mchipatala, kapena kutaya moyo wathu chifukwa cha COVID-19. Kulandira katemerayo kutithandiza kuthana ndi mliri wa COVID-19 limodzi.
Ziwani zambiri za katemerayo ndi kupanga chisankho cha nzeru. Sankhani katemera, tetezani tsogolo.
If there's one thing that all soaps do, it's wash. From buckets to basins, bathrooms to streams, and everything in between.
All soaps wash.
Yes, but Protex is different. Its reinvented formula with flaxseed oil boosts your skin's natural anti-germ defenses by 10 times more, protecting you against 99.9% of germs. So what keeps us healthy?
Protex!
Good health starts here.
Welcome back. Minister of Information Gospel Kazago and Minister of Tourism Michael Usi have paid last respects to veteran broadcaster the late Swine Chinkango. The two made the remarks during Chinkango's funeral service in Banda on Friday before his burial same day at Makwasa in Chiolo. Chinkango was until his death acting director of programs at Malawi Broadcasting Corporation, died of COVID on Thursday. Sam Kalimira reports.
A somber mood engulfed Mtunzi in Blantyre as people from all walks of life, which included government officials, traditional leaders, Chimkango's workmates, fellow artists, and Christians, graced the funeral service. Chinkango was a humble human being who inspired many people in different aspects, and through his music, he touched souls. Kazako said Chimkango's talent would be difficult to be replaced.
He was one that believed in doing things right and then delivering to the media good journalism. You can see that Swine has been in the media, but because during his time, almost the entire time that he has been in public media, he has not really been rewarded adequately.
Veteran musician Alan Ngumuya had people shed tears when he performed a song titled Pamene, which Chimkango composed and is in Ngumuya's album titled Tizikumbukira. Death is a coward, as it strikes when you least expect it. Chimkango has left the country in pain. Usi said Chimkango was a talented producer.
Chimkango was the first producer for Feranji. I remember vividly him signaling to me 3, 2, 1, action. Then I started acting in the first act scene of Feranji.
MBC Director General George Kasakura said Chimkango was a decent human being who always spoke positivity.
Chimkango, we can describe him on 2 levels. That's what I've been saying since the thing happened. One, he was a professional. The way he was relating with others was very good. He didn't churn out negative energy. He was always positive about life, but also easygoing, easy to approach. So that is what made him a brilliant producer.
Chimkango, who joined the state broadcaster in 1997, was behind the production of different programs on TVM, now MBC, and produced music videos for various artists. His musical exploits saw him release albums such as Yendanibe and Fumu Yalunta. Born on August 18, 1963, Chimkango is survived by a wife and 3 children. May his soul rest in peace.
May Sune's soul rest in peace indeed. That's Sam Banda Jr. with that report. Still in the news, Malawi University of Science and Technology is set to distribute about 8,000 face shields the institution has developed to help fight the COVID pandemic. The university has donated 800 face shields to Chiwawa District Hospital. Richard Chiriba is a lecturer at the university.
So this is a project which was funded by UNDP. Through the project, we have been able to produce about 8,000 face shields, which has been donated to different hospitals across the southern region. As you're aware, with the COVID-19, there have been challenges in terms of importing goods, and the personal protective equipment is one of it. So, looking at the plight our healthcare workers are going through, we felt the need that we should come up with solutions using locally available materials, and one of them was the face shields, and we feel that in the long term it can also lessen the burden in terms of imports. But as must, we're always there to produce innovative products that with much emphasis on the use of local resources. In the case of Chiwawa District Hospital, we have donated about 800 face shields, but as I've said, in total we have about 8,000 face shields which are going to be donated across the district hospitals in the south.
Chiwawa District Director of Health Services, Stalin Zinkanda, described the gesture as timely.
We are so thankful for the donation because as we see that the pandemic is still going on the rise, we still need to make sure that our health workers are protected. So the face shields should be used appropriately as we're taking care of the patients in the wards, as well as when we're doing the screening at the gate, even as far as when we go to the community for surveillance. Well, the challenges are there. It's a fight. So in each and every fight, you expect to find some challenges. So same issues of lack of enough space for patients on the isolation ward that we have. We need to have it a little bigger so that in case the cases are going more and more that need to be admitted, then we should be able to take care of them properly. But otherwise, some of the other needs that are still there, continuous supply of the personal protective equipment.
In business news now, the Institute of Chartered Accountants in Malawi has warned against the hiring of people without adequate financial knowledge by organizations. ICAM President Fides Kachingwe said this during the opening of a postgraduate certificate course at Malawi Institute of Management in Lilongwe. Wezi Gausi was there.
Kachingwe says having identified the need in the market, ICAM and MIM thought it wise to design a program that will address the gap. She says they were grateful that now the institution will be producing graduates.
The students will be writing our exams and we are going to provide that certificate. And that certificate is recognized by both the higher education in Malawi, that board, as well as the Malawi Accountants Board.
Acting Executive Director of MIMS, Samson Sikelo, says the objective of the course is to gain financial knowledge for better understanding of financial statements.
We want to drill these participants in the basic skills of finance so that they are able to make informed decisions in various levels of management.
The course will run for 6 months at Lilongwe in Blantyre campuses with 62 participants from all sectors of economy.
That item was the last in the bulletin this evening, but before we go, the headlines again. Court rejects businessman Samia Karim's request to bring back a witness in the 150 million kwacha food rations case. Malawi makes 400 million kwacha from God in the last 2 months. In other news, at least 368,000 learners in Malawi lack basic needs such as school uniforms and learning materials. You've been with me, Eric Nsikiti, but remember you can get more on these and other stories by visiting our website www.times.mw, liking our Facebook page Times 360 Malawi, and following us on Twitter at Times 360 Malawi. Good evening.